What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to Real Reds Talk, an authentic football fan channel made in Manchester. This is your end of season awards, and even though it's not technically end of the season yet, because we've still got an FA Cup final to play, it basically is like, all the other campaigns are certainly over for us at least. Given their nominees as well as strong opinions, we've got Shreyas Singh, the Indian King. We've got Chivi Ortega, was in his prime the same time they brought out Sega, and Sam McCabe, the man who can't stand any politicians in favour of modern day slaves. How do you feel about that introduction? Yeah,
I mean,
pretty
that's
good.
It's pretty. If you're not against slavery, then I don't know what's wrong with you. Do you know what I mean?
I was trying to rhyme something. Politicians, modern day slave, like working. Just trying to get into there. Anyway. Now we can reflect on the season, lads, properly. What's the overarching feeling? Let's just start with that. Shreyas, I'll go to you first. It's been a hot minute. How do you feel now the dust has slightly settled?
I'm so happy the season is over. Like genuinely, I was waiting for so long that this needs to end. This needs to end. This needs to end. Apart from it, I think that in the last few games we saw a few new faces in back in the team. Ahmad getting a chance, and he actually took it quite well. He looked quite impressive the way he was able to take care of the ball, even in situations where he had to drop deep at times, he was still able to work his way quite well. So Ahmad was a good one. Amrabat was hit and miss in the last few games as well. Against Arsenal he was quite decent. In the last game he didn't really look quite sharp enough. But yes, I think apart from it, this season was very underwhelming. It probably could have been operated a lot better if we had our players like Lisandro and Luke Shaw would have been available. But apart from it as well, the season was quite underwhelming. And I think there is still going to be a massive chunk in the fan base which is going to be divided over Ten Hag's future as well, as to whether Ten Hag should be continuing, as to whether Ten Hag should be sacked and a new face needs to be coming with the new project and the new structure coming in. So I think what I wanted was that as the season ends, at least we get some clarity as to what the future is going to look like. But I think we still need to wait out a couple more weeks. Even after the FA Cup final, I think we'll have to wait out a couple more weeks, and then we'll get the fairer picture as to what the future is going to look like. Who's going to be the next manager? Is Ten Hag going to be continuing? What players are going to be considered a part of the project moving into next season and under Ineos as well? So I think right now still the season definitely has ended, but there are still a lot of question marks throughout the squad and the management as well.
Well, like Shreya says, Chivi, on the flip side of the coin, are you optimistic about the summer going into it with this kind of new structure now? Because that's the kind of thing that United fans are almost clinging on to at the moment and kind of praying works. It's not always guaranteed, though, is it?
I think that's the only silver lining in this whole thing, is that we have the new structure. Well, not structure, but we have like new faces at board level. And these are trusted faces with credibility. They come with a lot of experience in football. And it's not just going to be about a commercial thing anymore. And, now we're going to have, one of the biggest issues that we've had for a very long time now has been decision making at board level. And we're going to have people that we believe will be able to make, shrewd decisions, be decisive when it comes to, try to make up their minds on, on a manager or a player, so that I think that's the only silver lining for a lot of fans. If we had to endure this under the previous regime, like if there was no hope in the future, then I think a lot of us would have been genuinely depressed. Like it would have been so depressing just to know that we're going in. With everything, everything is now coming out to light. The whole thing about the stadium now, like the whole world got to see it, which I was actually quite happy about. Everyone got to see it, like it was a national embarrassment. So yeah, going into the summer, I'm optimistic. I'm happy that we're in that sort of place where, I don't want to say radical, but some really, really tough decisions are going to be, going to be made this summer, and a lot of us are waiting for that. A lot of us are waiting to see what's going to happen, because we're hoping for some kind of statement from these guys, and not just like a verbal statement. Statement like action, basically. So that's the only thing for such a season that was pretty much dead and buried. I mean, I was. A lot of you guys had checked out at the end. I was already checked out at Brentford. Like it was done for me. So yeah.
Totally understandable. Nice to see everyone in the comments. We're going to get into the awards very, very shortly, and we need your opinions on that as well. So make sure you keep getting them comments in, and as always, we'll read them out and smash a like on the video as well. Sam, would you kind of echo what Chivy's just said there in terms of just fucking glad it's over? And are you optimistic, but also cautiously optimistic as well heading into the summer?
Yeah, as a Man United fan as recently, I'm used to disappointment, and heading into summer I expect to be disappointed again with England and Gareth Southgate, because that's how it goes. I just hope the one thing that keeps it together and gives me a bit of hope is how we operate in the transfer market and how we operate in terms of getting people in, out, shake it all about.
I was just about to say that
before you did. And then also get sort of I know we're going to get onto the little bit of Dan Ashworth news that has broken recently, but hopefully get him in. Omar Barada starts July. Jason Wilcox already started, so hopefully that'll be all sorted and we can operate in the thing. And then, like Chivy has said multiple times, I hope we sign players where I go, who the fuck's this guy? Like, where have they found him? I don't want to see us linked with the same fucking shite every single summer. I don't want to see it. I don't want to see it like go, oh yeah, we're signing Tony Cruz, we've convinced him to stay out retirement. Do you know what I mean? It's just like, this is just not.
Mentioned that before. 900k contract, 3 years.
Absolute fantastic player, but it's just not the profile we should be going for at the minute. It's just not who we should be looking at. So I think hopefully they've got the correct operation going on. I want to see it in action. But Ten Hag's future is another question. Does he go? Does he stay after the FA Cup final? That's a big question as well. And with all the managerial merry-go around, especially what's just happened just now, it could be an interesting time in the summer for sure.
Yeah, there's a lot of kind of morons floating about at the moment. Chelsea being one of them, as James from MUFC put on Twitter. Chelsea have sacked Poch, which I just think is fucking ridiculous and stupid. But again, could do a whole kind of podcast about that. You've had Dan Ashworth CCing the wrong people in his emails, which we'll get into towards the end as well, which is just... oh my God, what are you doing? And then we've got some other bits about Marcus Rashford being left out of the England squad, which I want to get all of your thoughts on, so just bear that in mind. But the categories and the awards. So I'll go through the ones that we're doing, and then we'll go through them individually, yeah? Are we cool with that?
Well, should we just do it individually, just go through? Then it's a surprise, isn't it? Like what we've done.
All right.
Yeah?
No, we can certainly do that. So the first one that we've put out there is signing of the season. Now, just again, for a bit of context, we signed Mason Mount, 60 million quid, or 55 plus 5 if you want to sound a little bit thinger. Onana for 45 million pound, Rasmus Højlund for 65 million pound, Amrabat on loan, Bayern Day, I think he's a keeper or something, not sure. You lads will have to let me know on that one. Johnny Evans on a 1-year deal.
Is he the guy in the milk cartons?
I think so.
With Terrell Malacia, the same guy.
With Malacia as well, yeah. Bayern Day, if anyone knows who that is, please let me know in the comments. And then Region, who I completely forgot about as well, on loan. So, obviously there's going to be some standout ones. I mean, some obvious ones in that sense. But, Shreyas, I'll go to you first. Who stands out for you as signing of the season?
Johnny Evans.
Johnny Evans.
Yeah.
Johnny. Well, yeah. Who? What's the best way to phrase it? You can't say stand out. Who's slightly noticeable?
Who's not complete shit or missing?
Yeah. Who's not been dog shit? Yeah. Let's go with that.
I mean, considering the fact that when he was brought in, I think even he expected to just start like 5 or 10 games this season, like when he came in, and he's ended up playing like 25-30 appearances for the club this season. So, and in fairness to him as well, he's been quite solid and decent whenever he has been on the pitch, considering his age and considering the type of football that we've been playing as well throughout the course of the season. So I think for me, Johnny Evans definitely, and
crazy.
Apart from that, you got to say Højlund, for a very young striker with absolutely no service, ending the season with 16 goals. It sets a good tone for him, going into next season. So I think Højlund and Evans.
I think that's a fair shout. We're going to do a bit of a general consensus on this, and you guys in the chat are going to have kind of like the last vote on it as well. So we'll see what the other lads say. Chibi, what are you going with? Who was slightly noticeable out of the transfers?
Initially, I was caught between Onana and Højlund. I completely forgot about Johnny Evans. Like he takes it from me, 100%.
People were laughing at the time, weren't they?
Yeah.
Like when you got announced,
Honestly,
people were like, Johnny Evans, are you joking? But we needed him, haven't we?
Yeah, I think he's been, in comparison to everyone else, all the other new signings, he has been the most consistent in terms of performances. He's put in the most consistent performance. And I know Onana was crap at the start, and then he got better saving. But then the one thing that we actually brought him in, we still haven't really seen it. He's good on the ball, but his distribution was what we really hoped, would kind of. Højlund is a tough one because, he's got 16 goals or whatever it is that he has, but you don't really feel it. You hear he's got 16 goals and you're like, really? Like how? Because he had he went, lots of times he went on the drought and then he goes missing games.
Bits on it where it's like run.
Yeah, it's like
no
local patches.
Run.
Yeah, it's like little purple patches. So it's not been consistent enough for me to actually say it was. I was actually quite surprised that he ended up with 10 Premier League goals. I was like, where did that come from? Because it didn't feel like it was 10 goals. But yeah, I have to agree with Shreyas. Honestly, I think Johnny Evans has been our best signing this season.
Interesting.
As crazy as it sounds.
No, it's not. It's not crazy. I don't think it is crazy, but I know what you're saying.
I mean, if you,
I mean, considering the fact the players that we've gone in for and the prices we've paid, a free transfer of Johnny Evans.
Honestly, just cast your mind back to the start of the season before we even kicked the ball and we're sitting here going, I've got Mount, we're doing the whole thing.
Yeah.
And then it's like Johnny Evans, it's going to end up being like, and he deserves it.
Is he going to get a clean sweep, Sam? That's the question. Are you going to go with Johnny Evans? Or are you going to rob him of the prize?
I wouldn't argue with the Johnny Evans thing because I think consistently he's probably been our best signing. As Shivy touched on, Onana at the beginning was abysmal and cost us a Champions League group thing in a group we should have easily gone through in because he literally chucked it in his own net. But since then, he has improved. I think he's improved. We'll get onto the improvement thing later, so I'll touch on that later. But I think he has got better as the season's gone on, despite the fact that anytime we post anything about Onana, somebody in our comments just goes, he's fucking shit. And it's just like, people can't change, apparently. People can't improve. It's just like, if you have one thing, that's it. You're just shit for the rest of the time.
Welcome to football, social media.
So I think he deserves a shout. Højlund, again, stats don't speak for us. 10 goals. Like if I think we said at the beginning of the season, if he gets 12 to 15 goals, it's a decent season, and he's got 16. So I would say, I think if he got a little bit more consistent and we fed him more balls into the box and stuff like that, I think he would score a lot more goals. I think he'd be closer to 20 if we did that. Yeah. So I think that, and then he was injured at the beginning of the season, and he's had stops and starts. So yeah, he's a bit patchy and stuff like that. I will give it to Rasmus Højlund because he's come in as the only striker. He's got 16 goals when he's got no right to. He's feeding off scraps, and his personality, his attitude seems like he's proper up for it. And I think he'll only get better if we get the right players around him. Say we sign Elise, people like that. So I will give it to Rasmus Højlund because he's done so well in really shit circumstances. He's had no backup, no Martial. Rashford's been missing for the most part, so I think I would give it to him. But I'm not going to argue the Johnny Evans shout. If you three vote Johnny Evans, I'm not going to argue it.
I really don't want to rob it. I mean, I had Rasmus initially because I agree with everything you just said, Sam. But equally with Johnny Evans, I think he's been fantastic for what we got. You're talking about when you're paying that much money for a striker, you expect it. When you get a centre back on loan who's 35 years old and hasn't had a club, you do not expect what he's done this season. No one did. Yeah. So for that, maybe that just kind of tops it for me. But I absolutely agree with Rasmus. Let's read some comments out.
Before you
do, saying, go on.
If Amrabat had shown the form of the last two games before the last one throughout the season, he'd be in with a shout as well. But just hasn't.
But in the last game, equally dropped off the face of the fucking. He was awful. He got his pocket picked so many times. Shay B saying Evans signing of the season for me. Tim99 saying Højlund the best signing, thinking long term. Scoreboard saying I think Evans was the best. Dino saying Rasmus. True Cushman going on about Poch. Charlie Mammon saying Onana's our best signing. The amount of saves that guy has done for us this season is crazy. Aaron saying Amrabat for me. I don't know if that's tongue in cheek or if he's being deadly serious.
I really hope so, Aaron. Otherwise, you've lost your fucking mind. Yeah,
it's Aaron.
Yeah, it's Aaron. Yeah, good point. So I don't know the general. I think Rasmus in the comments from what I've seen, because he's what 1, 2, 3, but he's 2 for Evans as well. So we'll go. I think Rasmus just tops it by like 1 or 2 votes.
Johnny Evans definitely deserves to be like right up there as well, though. I think Johnny Evans should be like the closest second like you can get.
Okay. Yeah. Next up, are we ready to go to the next one, Sam?
Yeah. Funniest moment of the season.
Funniest moment of the season. Now, anyone in the chat, I was actually struggling because it's been so depressing for the majority of the season. I've been struggling to think about funny moments where I've been laughing my head off, and it's a bit of a strange one. So if anyone in the chat can think of some stuff, do chuck it in, and we'll definitely discuss it. But the 2 that came to mind, one of them was there was a clip of Casemiro.
Should we play it?
Just play it.
Let's play it. So the lads won't be able to hear it, but you guys at home will be able to hear it. So
okay,
well, there we go. There we go. Yeah.
So just Casemiro being random as fuck, going goody morning, goody morning. Just very, very strange, bizarre behaviour. Obviously on one that morning. And then there was a situation I remember against Galatasaray where
Garnacho's trying to get himself killed.
Yeah.
He's trying to get murdered in fucking Turkey.
Yeah, shushing the fans, and Anthony's like, fucking stop that right now, and has to like kind of grab his arm around him and say, come this way, because he's winding the Turkish fans up. But any that spring to mind apart from that, lads, for you? Any funny moments of the season?
Anthony's face when he was coming on, I think for Ahmad or Garnacho.
At left back, was it?
No. There was this one game, I think maybe it was against Arsenal, or we were losing, and he was coming on and he had this look on his face that, I'm going to score. And there were all sorts of...
Oh, I know what you want about,
Yeah.
It's got that face that he's going to score a hat-trick, but comes on his fuck
Yeah.
Tim99 says Klopp after the FA Cup. Aaron says Casemiro towing a caravan commentary, got to be one of the funniest ones. Rashford red card against Copenhagen. I completely forgot about that. Yeah. Any come to mind, Chibi? No? Okay.
No.
Sam?
It's been devoid of like anything funny, hasn't it? Really, in terms of United, like there's other stuff in the Premier League, but in terms of United, it's not much.
Yeah.
I'd go with Casemiro because it made me smile. The Garnacho one, I was just like worried for the kid because I was like, you're not going to get out of it alive if you continue with this.
Yeah. So we'll go with goody morning. I need to get on the soundboard actually. That'll be the funniest moment of the season. So well done to Casemiro. At least you won one award. Next up, best moment of the season. What now? This one.
There's only one winner.
Away.
There's only one winner.
Yeah, there's only one winner. But let's just see if you guys can get this one. Dreas, kick it off, mate. Talk to me because we've got the options you've got. I'll just throw them out there. But again, we know probably what the majority is going to pick.
Of course.
Ahmad versus Liverpool.
Yeah.
Onana saved Maguire's goal, I think, in the same game against Copenhagen.
Yeah.
Hoyland's first Premier League goal. Kobbie Mainoo's last-minute winner against Wolves. McTominay double against Brentford. So what would you go with out of them?
Liverpool FA Cup final. Ahmad scoring the winner.
Yeah, has to be on it. Has to be.
Yeah.
What other ones are close to that then, Chivy? Let's say. What out of them ones that I've mentioned, which ones kind of sparked your heart, if you will?
Mainoo's win against, equaliser against, was it the winner?
Winner
Wolves.
Yeah,
the Mainoo one, because that literally just came out of nowhere. Like, we were
cold,
down in the dumps. Yeah, they came back 2-2, and it was just like, we're going to lose this now. And he just pulled that off with the defeat and everything, the timing of the goal, the celebration, everything was just like, it was something. Yeah, so for me, that's a really close second for me.
Interesting. Sam, any close to you? Any close second? Not the obvious one, isn't it?
Yeah, the obvious one is the Ahmad one because I was at the game, you were at the game, and I've not experienced anything like that in person for a long fucking time. The closest to that was and I wasn't there, was the Paris moment, like they're coming back from Paris under Ollie. That's probably the closest other moment post Fergie that I've had. Rasmus Højlund scoring his first goal, I loved it. Like just the little pinch in my heart when he scored. I was just like, fucking finally, this kid's got a goal. And he fucking loved it. And he's a United fan, and he just went in front of the Stretford end and he was like almost crying. I was like, fucking get in. Like, I love it when it works out for a player like that. even Vegas when he scored a goal finally, I was just like, fucking come on, Val, let's get it. So
I mean, he
And
melted
tried
out,
as well.
didn't it?
Oh, yeah.
His was like a fucking
Yeah.
Oscar speech when he
Yeah,
scored.
yeah.
It's like crying and everything.
Aaron probably hated it because he started crying because I know he doesn't
Yeah.
like men crying. But I think, yeah, Rasmus is very close. I really, really enjoyed that. But Ahmad, there's nothing that touches him.
Over Mainoo's goal.
No, I'm saying he asked me for another one to thing, and you already touched on the Mainoo one.
Yeah.
Fucking hell, Chivy.
Right,
Jesus
yeah.
Christ. He's moved on. Martial's leaving, so now his new guy is Mainoo, so he won't have any words said against Mainoo now. He's like protecting him with his life.
No. I'm talking about come on, I was talking about the moment. I thought you meant it's not about Mainoo.
I'm winding you up,
Yeah,
Chivy.
I was talking about the moment. Like I thought
Yeah.
you meant it was sorry.
Yeah.
Ignore me. Guys, I'm sorry. Sometimes I forget what life. Sorry.
Let's just move on.
Sorry.
That was the best moment of the season. Ahmad versus Liverpool is just a fucking cliche for me. Like, it has to be. It has to be the best one.
Also, it absolutely derailed Liverpool's season as well. After that, their fucking season just fell apart. They got beat by Atalanta. They fucking bottled the league. Everything just went to pot, didn't it, after that? So
I think in its own right as well, it would have to be up there as like game of the season, really. Because there was a couple of games this season. I look at, like, for example, I think Chelsea and Tottenham where Spurs are still playing the high line with like 9 men. That was a standout one.
Yeah.
And there's been a couple others. But in terms of like, oh my god, everything that happened in that game, going down, going back, going down again, it had everything.
It's probably one of the most important, like I won't say most important, like one of the biggest FA Cup moments ever.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
not
People will
just-
talk
not
about
just
that in
the
20
season.
years, won't they?
Yeah, people will still talk about that.
Yeah.
it's like the
Very
Ryan Giggs moment against Arsenal. Like people still talk about
exactly.
that.
Yeah.
And then
This
you've
is-
got the Jesse Lingard goal in the semi-final. People still talk about that. Like you have all these
Martial.
moments. Martial, another one. You have these moments, and Ahmad will be forever in Manchester United history.
Yeah, one of them ones.
So
Yeah. So a clean sweep there for Ahmad. Next up, again.
game of the season.
Yeah, game of the season. Liverpool game, which we've just spoken about. This may be the favourite again. You've got Aston Villa at Old Trafford, where we came back from 2 goals behind to win 3-2 when Rasmus scored his first goal as well. And then you had the Wolves away game, which was another one that was just frantic and madness and kind of in that period where it was really end-to-end. But we can go through this quickly if you want, lads. Does the Liverpool one win it again, or do you think there's other contenders?
Yeah,
Liverpool, hands down.
Yeah. Liverpool same, but like Chivy.
He had everything, back and forth.
Exactly.
They scored, we scored. It's Liverpool. It's
Yeah, and he got us to a final.
And
Like you
for
in a
the
final with City. Like
You almost
And
have to win it.
Everyone had written us off. Like, I'm sorry.
No, it's okay. You go.
Yeah, we'd been written off before the game. Like, we.
It was
we lost
supposed to
Fulham.
be. It was supposed to be 3-0, 4-0. Against us
Yeah.
before the game even started.
Yeah, so we'd lost to Forest, I think, before that.
Yeah.
Forest and Fulham, and then we played Liverpool, and then it was good. That was supposed to be like the end, and so it has to be.
Yeah.
the Wolves one deserves a shout out because, like Chivy said, the Kobbie Mainoo winner was excellent. Absolutely fucking
Phenomenal.
love that. And then I was supposed to go to the Villa one, but I contracted COVID sadly. But my girlfriend got to go, and she said that was really good to be there live for as well. So I think they deserve shout outs. But Liverpool won. There's nothing that comes close to that. Nothing.
At least we've got something to fucking look back at.
Yeah.
Alec Williams, apparently Barada tapping up Ashworth. We're going to talk about that towards the end. We've got some news stories that we want to discuss, so it's not just the awards. But we'll get through these awards first, and then we'll get into that kind of stuff. Most improved player. We'll bang that on the screen for you. Who is the most improved player? So the ones I've put in here, again, don't know if you guys agree with it. Maguire, Dalot, Garnacho, and Onana, obviously, from this season in terms of how his start was. So, Shreyas, again, kick it off, and then when we go into the next couple of ones, I'll switch the order around. So, go on, Shreyas.
Because of availability, I will go Dalot. Because I think, considering the fact that, if you look at our backline, he's been one player who's been there, throughout the course of the season. Like, every single game he's been available. He also started the season quite poorly. He didn't have that momentum. In the second half of the season, he kicked in quite well. improved a lot in his game. His presence in the game could be felt a lot more, and provided a lot of stability as well. Being played as a right back, being played as a left back. So he did provide a lot of security to that backline, because if Dalot got injured as well, it would have been I think a 10 times worse situation for us than we were already in. Maguire as well, I think, deserves a shout out, because once again, he was a player who had been written off. People were actually wanting him to be sold for. I think West Ham came in with an offer before the season started for him, and people genuinely wanted him to leave. But once again, he came in, he took his spot when Lisandro and Varane got injured. I think one player of the month as well in between, so he deserves a shout out as well. Garnacho, once again, a young player coming through the ranks, still a lot of development to be done, but with the kind of shifts that he put in, with the kind of work rate and effort he puts on the pitch as well, he's got a bright future ahead of him. Onana, once again, I think he's had a stronger finish to the season, but the dimensions of his game that actually make him the keeper that he is, I think that is still something that is yet to be seen in a United shirt.
Interesting.
Oh, was Onana on the list?
Yeah, so most improved, yeah. Because we were talking about it in the chat. I mean, I think Sam may have mentioned it, from the start of the season to now, most improved. It's hard to do because he obviously weren't at the club last season. If he was going off that, his best keeper in the Champions League, wasn't it? So it's hard to do that, but yeah. Chive, we're live, mate.
Oh, me? Oh, sorry. I didn't know you asked me, sorry.
Yeah,
just keep it short and sweet. Maguire, I think, from that list, I'd go Maguire. But I think we could also somehow put Ahmad in there because, we didn't really see too much of him.
Mm-hmm.
And when we did,
speak for yourself, mate.
It was for like a few minutes every single time, and but then he's coming and he's just completely felt like the cliche. It felt like a new signing, literally. Yeah. So, but I think Maguire definitely deserves a shot. I mean, he was written off last season. I think all of us here were willing to take 30 million. I said 25. I'd be happy with that. And he's come in, and not only has his performances, but I think just in general, like the way he's carried himself after all the criticism from last year. Yeah, I'll give it to Maguire.
Mm-hmm. Just from my 2 pence, I'd agree with that. Like Aaron says there, Maguire, who's out in the cold and stepped up. Still not convinced on Dalot personally. Sam, who wins it for you?
Yeah, I've not gone with Dalot because I've put him in for another award. I think I'm going to pick him for. I'm going to go with Onana. I just think the start of the season, everybody wanted him gone. Everybody was saying, this guy's not good enough. He did cost us a Champions League spot, like he did. Like, there's no arguing around it. But since then, I think he's shown real strides. He's faced more shots than any keeper in the Premier League. And he's prevented more goals than any keeper in the Premier League. He was at one point in contention for the Golden Glove. I think without him, we'd be in a lot worse position. People would be like, well, De Gea would save that. Yeah, but De Gea's not here. And he wasn't saving this shit when he was here. Like, there was the West Ham one. There was a bunch of stuff where he was letting it in. So I think he's only going to improve from now. And I think to have the mentality and the personality to turn it around from the shite he had, a lot of keepers would go under after that and be like, nah. But the way he speaks in interviews, the way he talks about himself and the team, I think he'll be a future leader, and I really, really like it. I hope he just continues on. But Harry Maguire deserves a shout, man. A guy who was cast out, captaincy stripped. We're trying to sell him in the summer. Nobody wanted him, and he's forced his way back in, and he's looked really good in the team, and he's said the right things, and he's played injured for us. I think he deserves all the shout in the world. So I wouldn't argue the Harry Maguire one, but for me personally, it's Onana.
Yeah, the resurgence has been mad with Maguire on it, really. And when you look at where he's come from to where he is now, fair play to him. He's a perfect shining example to any young player coming up. You can go through the trenches and still come back and still be regarded as top level. So fair play to him. I'd definitely go with Harry Maguire. But yeah, I agree with Onana as well. I thought his interview was fantastic with Gary Neville, where he was saying, like, look, I'm here to take shots. Don't speak about the younger players who are messing up and making errors. I'm accountable. This one's on me. And I think we need that kind of them kind of personalities, let's just say, in the team. Right, moving on to worst moment of the season, which we really don't want to do. And let's be honest, there was that many fucking selections. We've had to kind of narrow it down. So we've got Lisandro getting injured again. City winning the league four times in a row. Onana at Galatasaray. And then one popped into my head, which isn't on the list, but just to throw it out there, Chelsea, Cole Palmer, last 2 minutes, extra time.
Yeah.
And we're going to flip it this time. So, Sam, you go first on this one.
The City one doesn't bother me because it's a plastic club. It's fake, and they built it on a fucking thing, 115 charges. So it doesn't. They could win 20 titles for the next 20 years. It would not. I couldn't give a shit. If Arsenal would have won it, that would have probably made my list. That would have been fucking horrible to see. But City do what they want. The Onana one fucking sucked at the time. It really fucking sucked. Like, I hated it. Like, I was with you. I was like, is this guy how is this guy the same guy who's in the Champions League final and played one of the best keepers in the world? I don't know what the fuck has happened here. So that really sucked in the moment, but afterwards he's improved himself, so the sting's gone a bit. The Leacher injury, man. We've just missed him so much this season, haven't we? We've missed that guy so much this season. He's so integral, a leader, a warrior. He's a fucking quality player, can take the ball under pressure, good passing range, will fight through everything, wants to play for the team, and just gives a shit. So I think missing him, had we had him available for most of the season, I think we could have snatched a few draws or held on to wins. I think we could have improved quite a lot. But yeah, missing him is so big. And there's the time he went down with a second injury, I was just like, oh no. Like, this is our season, like, falling apart here. And anyway, he went down in the Brighton game, and I was fucking panicking. I was like, please no, please no. Please don't do it, but he's all right, thankfully. So for me, that would be... But the Cole Palmer one was a kick in the balls as well. Like, I really did like that. Really did like that. Really. But yeah, for me, Leacher.
Let me know in the comments, worst moment of the season for you personally. And again, this is more a personal one because it's how it made you feel at the time. Like, what made you fucking absolutely stressed when you saw it. Chive, I have a feeling, because you referenced the Brentford game quite a lot of times, is that going to be involved, or would you go for something different?
Yeah, I mean, that was a gut-wrenching feeling. But I was going to mention the Chelsea game, so I'm glad you actually mentioned that. Like, as far as like being the worst moment, because it's different when you're on a high and then you just get brought down to earth like that within, what was it, 2 minutes?
2 minutes.
Yeah.
Of just total madness. It was at Stamford Bridge, where we haven't won in, I don't remember the last time we won at Stamford Bridge. It's been God knows how long.
Graveyard.
Score 3. Yeah, it's been terrible. Like, we haven't lost that many, but we just keep drawing. And I always feel like we've been hard done by there. So this was the first time where I felt we're actually getting away with this. It was after the Liverpool game, I believe, as well. So we were kind of on a bit of a
high, like
a fake resurgence. Basically, it kind of felt like there was something, And then Anthony did that crazy pass, Garnacho scores, and then it's just like, And then it just slept up, and that was it. That was one of, for me, it was just heartbreaking, and it was one of them ones where you're just speechless. You don't really know what to say. Yeah, that was a really, really hard one to take. Pause on hard one to take, just in case no one caught it. But yeah.
Subscribe to Chivy's OnlyFans.
Yeah.
Coming soon.
Yeah.
Yeah, for me, the Chelsea one was bad.
Yeah. Shreyas, depending on what you say, we might have to leave this one to the viewers because I've got one in mind for me personally. But what would you go with?
I've actually got a different one in mind. For
okay.
Me, it was the Palace game, losing 4-0 to Palace away.
Oh my God. How have I not put that on there? How have I not put that on there?
Before that game, when I
Shreyas, was that worse than the Bournemouth loss? Because that Bournemouth loss was horrible. The 3-0.
Take your pick.
Fucking hell, that was horrible.
Actually, I have to choose what is worse, the 4-0 scoreline or the 3-0 scoreline.
Oh my God. I completely forgot about I don't know how. Actually, I had it in my mind when I was doing it. How have I not? I'm actually annoyed at myself for not putting that in because that was fucking horrendous.
And the thing was that before that game, I knew that Olise would do something in this game.
Yeah.
I knew it that it would happen, but the way our players turned up in that game, like, in certain games, you at least think that, even though we might lose, at least, the score, at least keep it a bit competitive, or maybe there is at least something that you can look at a game and say that we're still in it, or at least we showed some fight. It just felt like from the get-go, Palace were a team that was just looking to completely dominate us throughout the 90 minutes, and we just had no, even the senior players in that game as well. There was just no sense of accountability throughout the course of that game. So, and it was quite a big letdown for me, that Crystal Palace game.
Yeah, I was mad at that, and it was horrendous. But because of what we'd been like throughout the season, I kind of expected it to happen, so I wasn't shocked in that sense. Like I knew that was going to happen. Like you said with Elise, you look at centre back, the form Casemiro was in. I knew he was going to get twatted that game with the form. I actually said, when I was looking at the 5 games that we had with Palace, Arsenal, Newcastle, Brighton, and whatever the other one was, I'm most worried about the Palace game because the form that he was in, the players individually that they have on the counter and stuff that can kill us, and it, end up coming into fruition. The one for me was the Onana against Galatasaray, the 2 free kicks from Ziyech. I was like, in terms of what enraged me the most, I was like, I can't believe this guy, after doing what he did against Bayern Munich when he fumbled the ball. I think Leroy Sané or Gnabry was it who shot from the edge of the box and he fumbled it.
The home fixture as well against Galatasaray, where he got Casemiro sent off as well with the pen.
It was awful, wasn't it? It was absolutely awful. So we'll leave that one to the comments then, because we've stayed on this one for a bit too long, because there's quite a few worse moments. We'll leave that one to you guys and let us know, and we'll kind of ton it up. This kind of comes into with it as well, Sam, if we're ready. The biggest disappointment of the season?
Yeah.
What I've gone with is Marcus Rashford. So obviously the decline from last season, 30 goals in all competitions. Mason Mount as a signing, because 60 million quid, has hardly played whatsoever. The injuries in general, like the injury curse, let's just call it. Casemiro's decline, or the Champions League campaign. Take your fucking pick, Sam.
Injuries for me. It's just fucking devastated our season, hasn't it? Like, it's just left us adrift in every single competition bar the fucking FA Cup. Like, we've just not been able to... How many? 48 different defensive combinations, 17 different centre-back combinations. Rashford's been out and out of form. Højlund wasn't available for the first part of the season. Kobe Mania wasn't available for the first part of the season. Mason Mount hasn't been available all season. Well. Ahmad was injured. Luke Shaw's been injured most of the season. Like, wasn't Wan-Bissaka out at some point as well?
Who are the only players who haven't been injured? Is it
Dalot?
Onana, Garnacho?
Dalot?
Yeah. Onana, Garnacho, Dalot. That's it.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
And it's just swept through and just absolutely ruined everything. Because we have, like, we looked at remember when we looked at that bench? I can't remember what game it was, and it was fucking Toby Collier, Amari Forson, Harry Amas,
Heaton,
Louis Jackson,
Heaton.
Are you like, for fuck's sake, like, what you like? If you're
£1.2 billion spent for us to have
you're 1-0 or 2-0 down, you got to look to the bench as like a 16-year-old kid.
Yeah,
like
we had Ericsson and Anthony on the bench, and then the rest were just.
It's just like this is ridiculous. So that has just been horrendous for me. It's just ruined every part of the season. Had we had even half of these players available, I think we might have been a little bit better off. But for fuck's sake, I've never seen it before. Like, how many? 67 separate injuries we've had?
Yeah.
Is that the number? That's ridiculous. That's fucking ridiculous. And I really hate that pundits always mention, oh yeah, Newcastle have had injuries, Chelsea have had injuries. They don't mention shit about United. They never say anything. Because nobody, it's just, and it fucking annoys me. But yeah, that's the worst for me. Absolute terrible.
Okay. Chive, any different take to that?
Yeah, I mean, definitely injuries has been, it's been detrimental to the season. But I have to say Marcus Rashford, because as Sam was mentioning, Højlund was injured, Maino was injured, who else was injured? But they still came in and made an impact regardless. Rashford was fit for a long time of the season.
Yeah.
Especially at the start of the season. And we really could have done with some of his goals. I know he scored against Arsenal. And I think that was like his first goal all season.
Yeah.
And I don't even think he has as many goals as Casemiro, to be honest.
7 goals and 2 assists, I think, in all comps, Rashford this
season. So Marcus Rashford? Yeah. Okay.
Disappointing,
isn't it?
Garnacho's
last time we counted, Casemiro had 5 at the start of the season.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah.
Yeah, so like McTominay as well outscored him. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, you're having deep midfielders outscoring you, and you're supposed to be. I mean, he signed a contract at the end of last season to get £325,000 at the end. This was based on what he'd given us last season, and I don't think anyone complained about the contract because of what he provided last season.
Yeah, absolutely.
So going into this, a lot of our hopes were on him as far as goals. Obviously, Martial was non-existent, so we couldn't count on him. But Haaland was injured. We barely had anyone, and it was up to him to step up. And if he showed just give us 20%, 30%. We didn't get none of that. We got 5%, maybe 8%. So it was just so bad. I mean, that could be down to a lot of reasons. I don't know, but in terms of, if we're just looking at it on paper, like 12 disappointments, like that was really bad because Sam mentioned a lot of players that were injured, but they still came back and made an impact. And he was around for a very long time. Didn't do nothing. Absolutely nothing.
I think Ten Hag mentioned this in his press conference. Sorry to cut you in there, and he said why didn't you prioritize signing the second striker with Rasmus? And he was like, because Rashford gave me 30 goals basically last season. So if he continues that form, we're in a completely different situation. And he just gone, ghost. It's in a bit.
And we can see now everything has come full circle. He's been dropped out of the England.
Yeah, exactly.
He's not even making it. So it was like, for me that was like, biggest disappointment.
Yeah, Shreyas.
Yeah, I think as well. I've got to go with Rashford, considering the fact with the expectations that people had from him, they're going into this season. Considering the fact that he was supposed to be the leader of this attacking line, with youngsters like Højlund, Garnacho, Ahmad. He was supposed to be the one, that senior figure in that line, who would take the pressure off these players. And going into this season, a lot of people expected him to be, kind of, like last season, he was the person who took that burden off of, actually scoring goals. He was that goal scoring edge last season. People expected him to be even better this season, but he did drop off, and somehow youngsters like Garnacho, youngsters like Ahmad, they've been able to have a lot, greater impact in lesser amount of games. Like I would still say Ahmad in the minutes has, that he's been given at the end of the season, he's made more out of all the minutes that Rashford accumulated throughout the course of the season.
Yeah, more of an impact, definitely. Like that's going to be split then because I've gone with injuries as well. That has been the biggest disappointment for me. It's ruined the majority of the season. And there hasn't been a week, I don't think, when we've done a preview for a game or when we speak about anything, when we haven't, it's just there, lingered. We're always like, we can play that. We can't play him there because he's out.
Remember,
no left back all season.
Every time we're trying to do an 11, we're like, I don't know, because I don't know who's available. I don't know who I can pick. I don't know if they're back.
It's like Rashford at 9 again, fuck's sake. Casemiro at centre back again, fuck's sake. Like Wan-Bissaka at left back. Like, oh my god, it has been horrendous. So yeah, again, believe that to the comments. Goal of the season, can we just skip past that? Is it Garnacho's or red kick out of all of them? Surely, right? Yeah. Or does anyone want to throw something else? There?
Garnacho, from a technical standpoint, is probably the best. Like, it's better than technically, it's better than the Rooney one, but the Rooney one had more connotations against City. So you thought the Mainu goal was excellent. I think I thought fucking phenomenal goal, and then the Ahmad goal, although sort of not technically beautiful, the importance of that goal was fucking incredible. What it meant. So I think any three of those I'd be happy with, but from just a pure spectacle, the Garnacho goal was like ridiculous.
Shreyas, you mentioned the Dalot goal against Sheffield as well, and we also had in there the Bruno goal against Burnley, Johnny Evans' left foot, what a fucking assist, and then the volley was class as well. So we've actually scored some really good goals this season, to be fair.
Yeah.
If you looked at our highlight reel of this season, the goals were back. People would be like, what a fucking season this was, and then you look at what... Yeah, it finished 8th, and they had a -1 goal difference. Like, what the fuck?
Early out of the Champions League, early out of the Carabao Cup. Like, what? How has this happened?
Yeah.
Rashford goal against City, that was a rocket, Aaron. Yeah, I do agree with that. Dino saying Bruno volley was great too.
Yeah.
Both Mainu goals were great.
Oh shit!
Yeah, Mainu's goal against Liverpool.
The Bruno halfway goal. Why don't I wish that should have been on there? Do you remember Liverpool?
I look at it. Yeah, I look at it as like the keeper's already off the line. He just has to hit the target. In my opinion, at least. It was a good goal, but
I get that. It was good. Yeah. I get that.
Yeah. Jimmy, what would you go for?
I think we've talked a lot about Ahmad's goal against Liverpool and moments, but let's just look at technical. Let's just look at it from technical. Garnacho's goal was just amazing for me. I think it was.
Yeah.
I'll give it to Garnacho. I mean, there's a lot of moments and context involved in a lot of the goals and all that, but if we're just going to enjoy the spectacle of football, I would just say, me personally, I'll just give it to Garnacho.
I mean, that's goal of the season, isn't it, in the Premier League?
Yeah.
So
I think it got voted on match of the day, didn't it? Goal of the season.
Yeah,
I think
goal of the season. Yeah, the first 3 minutes as well to kind of sit the crowd. I've never seen Goodison Park like that in my life.
No.
Just you could hear a pin drop, mate. Like, oh my fucking god, what has he just done? And to do that, only he could do that. He's got that outrageous kind of attitude where he'd fucking try it, and obviously it paid off. So yeah, brilliant goal. Now we've got the last one, the big one. Player of the season. Who has been player of the season? Now, again, there is context. It's been a shit season.
Yep.
You know, it's not been as if there's been world beaters scoring 20-plus goals. But out of the players who've done relatively well, who is player of the season? So, Chive, do you want to kick this one off? Because I don't think you've gone first on one yet. Who's player of the season for you?
Jesus. Dallo, I think. I think there's only one answer to this. I think it has probably Dallo. I'd say Dallo. Even though he did have a rocky start, but
why Dallo specifically though? Like, is it the consistency?
I think it was just well, apart from the consistency, we saw, at least I saw, a more mature Dallo, I think he took a lot of. You could tell that he was taking a lot of responsibility. A more measured Dallo. He is not just a prospect anymore. Like he actually filled in the role of, like, he's now. I think he's like a proper. He's a proper player now. He's a man now. He's decision making. Drops into midfield. Played both left and right wing. Everything really, apart from the consistency. I think it's just the way he's literally stepped up. I think, in my opinion, and just the way he approached. I mean, he's made a few mistakes. The penalty against Chelsea for 3-3. That was.
Oh God, yeah. I forgot about
that. But now I think I've seen it. A huge improvement in him, and the manager has trusted him and plays through him. So a lot of times, most of the play from the back, a lot of times starts from Dallo. Lots of times. I'm gonna have to give it to him, and then it doesn't help that everyone else was crying. So.
Yeah. Does anyone want to contest Dallo for player of the season?
The only thing you could say is Kobe Mainoo, because he's been nothing short of phenomenal. However, he was injured for the first part of the season, whereas Dallo has been available all season, like no injuries, nothing, and he's been consistent. I think he has had a few flubs here and there, but for the most part, has been consistently good, like above a 7 out of 10 every single game. He scored some absolute banger of goals as well, by the way, some stunning goals.
Yeah, even the one against Brighton recently was a good goal.
Like, he's got a wand on his foot, so I think he has to be, and the improvement from last season where we all wanted him gone because if he's fucking marking it back, like letting people go at the back post consistently and just letting people wander into the goal, I think that was like such a massive shift from there. So I think he deserves it. But like Chiri said, 90% of the squad were absolute drizzling shits or completely injured all season. So it's like there's not a big pool to pick from. I think Garnacho has been good, but I think again very inconsistent. Has fallen off a cliff, but he's played far too many games, man. Far too many games. Like, this is a 19-year-old kid. He should not be playing 42 games in a row. Yeah, like
it's like starting constantly.
Stupid.
Starting.
It should be happening.
I don't think he's made that much of an improvement. But this is not down to him. I'm just saying. I think because of the amount of games he's playing, the pressure that we've been under, I think it's actually affected his growth.
Yep.
He hasn't developed as quickly as I thought he would. Hopefully next season, he gets a bit of a relief because there's a player there, man.
Like if on that right hand side we've got Ahmad, so I'm hoping we keep Ahmad. Say we sell Greenwood, say we sell Sancho. So you can then rotate Ahmad and Garnacho in on that right hand side, and then that's you can take breaks, and they don't have to play every single fucking game, which is what the issue is.
I think they're perfect for each other because you get two different profiles. You get someone who's direct, and then someone who's like who can play that that wide playmaker role, and they can connect easily. I think they provide really good balance. Yeah. And so far, we've seen them play together, and they've looked good together. So, yeah.
Just a word on Dalot, Shreyas, because I'm assuming you was going to go with him because I kind of saw you nodding there. But again, a guy who's, you look at the back line, how many changes there's been. Him and Onana, but Onana being keepers, less prone to injury. He's been the only one constant in that back line, hasn't he?
Yeah, definitely. And I think hands down, when you look at this entire team, there's not a lot of people that you can, pick and say that, they've been available for the entire season. We've had so many injuries, and I think his presence did make us a bit better in, on that right-hand side or left-hand side, wherever he has, featured for us. And yeah, his role has been quite versatile this season, considering with the injuries as well, his role has been I think in the second half of the season, his role got a bit more amplified, and, him being able to take that accountability and him being able to perform that way for us did actually, help us out a lot. And apart from it, 50 high fives per game as well. He's got a good stat running. So, I think, for me, Dalot as well.
Great high fiver in it. We put a poll up at the start of the show saying player of the season, and Dalot won it 55%, Mainu 28%, Garnacho 14%, and Maguire 3%. So someone rooting for Aaron Maguire out there. Fair enough. Right, that's the awards over. Real Reds Talk awards for the end of the season. It was difficult to do because even United cancelled their own because it was a pathetic season. But we've got to try and bring some light to the situation because it has been horrendous and kind of cast our minds away. We've got the last 10 minutes now to kind of blitz through this news. There's a couple of bits on ownership and budgets that I want to just throw out there. So I'm going to read out the articles that have been put out, on little snippets from it, and then I'll get your opinions on it before we kind of round off the show. United, so this is according to Chris Wheeler, which I'm like, Jesus Christ. Man United's budget this summer, are you ready for this? Is a little more than £35 million in cash, but new owners Ineos expect to raise substantially more by selling off some of their stars and are also prepared to offer player swaps. So if that is the case, 35 million quid, I don't even know you're going to buy with that, to be honest with you. So they're going to have to sell really, really well. But sticking with like the board upstairs and the operation in terms of going into this summer, Dan Ashworth, there was some news around him. Dan Ashworth and Omar Barada had a conversation early February, and Ashworth followed up by sending an email to Barada making it clear he wanted to join United. However, Ashworth sent a copy to his own Newcastle email, clumsily disclosing to the club the negotiations with Barada. Barada does not officially start at United until July the 13th, and he had been on gardening leave from Man City for less than a month when engaging with Ashworth potentially breaching the terms of contract. Ashworth also disclosed details to Barada the agreement between Newcastle and Brighton that took him to St James's Park in the summer of 2022. This would likely be a breach of confidentiality to each of Newcastle and Brighton. So the story continues. Sam, what's your reaction to this nonsense that's popped out?
I'd like to point out to the people who argued against me that Barada and other people aren't operating behind the scenes, even though they're on gardening leave.
Of course, there's a WhatsApp chat.
Do you know what I mean? Yeah. This just proves the fucking point. So yeah, all those people go, no, he can't. He's not actually operating. He fucking is. Look. Yeah. This is just stupidity, isn't it? Like, this is just recklessness from a guy who's a director at a major football club in the Premier League. Like, this is just stupidity, and I think he definitely needs to handle his business better. But just embarrassing, really. Just really embarrassing from a guy who's on a lot of money and should know better and should be handling sensitive information like that in a better way. Don't send personal stuff to your work account. Don't send when you're looking for another job to your work account. You're just asking for trouble. Like, really am.
Yeah. I suppose if we had an award for a donkey chivvy, it would probably be Ashworth, right? If we're talking about awards.
Emails. There's WhatsApp, there's text, there's speak on the phone. Email. Then you're even sending it. He's using his Newcastle United. Like, what the?
I bet when he sent it, that feeling where your arse drops, and you're like, oh no. And they're like, Dan, you sent this to the wrong one, mate. Are you aware? And he's like, yeah. Fuck's sake, man.
Yeah. I mean, it's daft. I'm just hoping that it's a joke. It's not real. Yeah, I don't know what to say. Honestly, like,
No, there's nothing to
emails.
say. It's just fucking stupid, isn't it?
Fucking who the fuck does that?
Yeah.
Unbelievable!
However, that being said, 2 years ago in York, in the University of York St. John, the vice chancellor was sending an email to a person he was having an affair with,
Oh,
and he CC'd everybody.
oh
He sent
no.
yeah, he he CC'd the entire department,
Oh my god.
and it was like a raunchy email. Like, who the fuck does that? Yeah.
Yeah. Well, you live and you learn. Sometimes you have to learn the hard way, I suppose. Just the last thing, again, Treyas, feel free to add on anything to that. If you want to call Ashworth a donkey, do feel free. Marcus Rashford dropped for England. What are your thoughts on that? Very big news coming out at 2 o'clock today when the preliminary, or whatever it is, squad got announced. Grealish, Gordon, and Eze in front of him. What are your thoughts?
I think most of them have had much better seasons than Rashford. I think Eze in particular, I would say, has had a very good season.
Grealish, though?
Grealish, I don't think I would put him in the same boat as Rashford.
Yeah.
When it comes to Grealish, but yes, apart from him, the other players that are there, I think they deserve their positions. Like even in the starting position as well, like players like Saka are going to be there. Players like Foden are going to be there. They've had incredible seasons for their clubs. Eze has had a wonderful season as well. Gordon actually has had a very good season for Newcastle as well. So those players genuinely deserve to be there. And Rashford, with the kind of caliber that he does have, and the kind of expectations that is genuinely going to be associated with him till he continues his career at United, he needs to step up. As simple as that. And he hasn't stepped up, and there have been players who've taken their opportunities much better than him. So I'm really not as surprised to see him actually getting dropped.
In a sense, Sam, I mean, I think you mentioned it yourself. It could be looked at as like a bit of a mental break. Really, maybe he doesn't need to go in that sense. Maybe, the form that he's in, the kind of mental state that he's in.
I mean, on form alone, he doesn't deserve to be there because there's players that have played better and are in better form. So, on form alone, he doesn't deserve to be there, and that's how teams should be selected on national level or club level. Like, if you're playing in form and you're doing well, you get selected. If you don't, you don't. And that's where it should be. He's obviously, I'm speculating at this point, but obviously something has either gone on behind the scenes or something in his life has gone on, because he's clearly just fallen off the face of the earth after last season. So whether it's personal issues that are affecting him, whether it's he's got the contract and now he's sort of settling for just showing up and doing the bare minimum, I don't know. Like, it could be a number of things. We don't know. People, like Chivy says all the time, football players are human beings. He could be dealing with something behind the scenes we don't know of. So if that is the case, maybe he's having a summer off, because pretty much every summer since he's started at United, he's been playing some sort of football in a tournament or with United in pre-season, what have you. So yeah, maybe a good break will do him the world of good. He can refresh, come back, and he's better for United. That's the hope, but until we see next season, we won't know. But yeah, he doesn't deserve to be there on form. So other people, Anthony Gordon, Cole Palmer, those kind of players, they deserve to be there.
Yeah. And just to kind of finish the show off, Chivy, just chat to me a little bit about Rashford, how you thoughts and feelings going into next season. Does he need to move away to kind of rejuvenate his career? Do you think it's just a mentality thing? Just, any kind of thoughts or feelings you have on him?
I hope he stays, to be fair. I actually think he's quite happy that he's not going, because very quickly he put out a post saying, "Oh, congrats, boys," and all that. Like, yeah. And I think he's just like, "Whew, thank fuck. Like, I can plan a holiday. I can take some time off." Like, I think he's looking forward to just not having to be in the spotlight every single time. Because if he's there and he's not playing, it's going to be, "Oh, why isn't he playing?" And then he's playing and it's, "Oh, he's crap." And I think he just can't wait to get away from the cameras and just disappear. And maybe, hopefully, he uses this time to. I mean, if he's a professional athlete, then I would imagine that he'll use this time to sort of get better. I remember once Bulgaria didn't make it to the World Cup, and Berbatov came back that season, and he was just banging in goals. And then they asked him, like, what did he do over the World Cup, whilst the World Cup was happening? And he was like, he'd watch a game and then he would just run a mile. Run 5 miles, watch a game. Run 5 miles. Like, he was literally just at home on the treadmill. Then he'd watch a game. Like,
feed the heart.
He didn't do anything. He stayed at home with his daughter and all that. And I remember he just came back and he was just free, literally. So I hope we see something similar from Marcus Rashford. Even though I've been one of his biggest critics, and even here as well, we've had a lot to say about Marcus Rashford. I still think he has unfinished business at Man United. I still think we haven't seen the best of him. Even if we see one more year of him and then we can sell him off to whoever, I still think there's one more season that he needs to, or 1 or 2 more seasons that we'll see from him. And I'm willing to wait. I'm willing to wait. And then we know with Rashford, like last season he had a phenomenal season. The year before was crap, right? So
yeah, you kind of hoping like maybe.
Exactly. So, exactly. Yeah. So this is typical Marcus Rashford sort of behavior. So hopefully we get the prime Rashford next season, and at the end we give him 500,000 a year or a week or something. We're used to doing crazy stuff like that. But yeah, to be more serious, I mean, I hope. He's one of ours. Man. As much as we hate him and all that, he's one of ours, and we deserve him. He can't just go and start banging in for someone else. Like we deserve this performance. Like we've waited, and we deserve to see a world-class Marcus Rashford.
Yeah,
as United fans. So yeah, I think there's unfinished business, and I think this is the season where he comes good. Hopefully.
I think next season is a big season for him. It's kind of the definitive one. And like you said, he's become almost a polarising fixture at United. You see everything that happened with the fans as well in the stadium where they're giving him shit. It seems to be a lot of fire between fans and him as a player and social media and all the things he's putting out there as well. So I do think he needs to get his head right. And like I said, it would not surprise me if he came back next summer and bagged 30 goals. Just what he does sometimes. So
I just hope he has like a Beckham moment. And then we'll go back in a couple of years. We'll be like, oh, do you remember when he had to stay with the fans and then he came back and it was amazing, sort of thing. So.
Yeah, because we obviously all appreciate him and love him. Being a part of the academy, coming up through that. It's just for whatever reason it's not working out at the moment, and yeah, let's hope he bounces back. And that's a perfect place to leave it. Thank you to every single one of you who was in the comments section getting involved. There was loads of you. Really appreciate that, whether you're watching live or watching later on. Please do smash a like on the video for us if you haven't already done that already. Sam, how many subs are we on currently? I can't see the
5,075, so 25 away from 5,100.
Awesome, that's amazing.
We also we hit over 3,000 on Instagram, by the way. So we're already pushing towards 3,100. So smash that. So thank you to everybody who's done that. Absolutely smashed it. That Instagram's took off recently, and it's all because of you guys. You guys following it, interacting with the content. Even the dickheads, you help push our content higher and make us more seen.
Even the dickheads.
Yeah.
So if there are any dickheads out there, keep being you, mate.
Only helps us.
See you guys in the next one. Thank you to Shreyas, Chivy and Sam, and we'll see you tomorrow for the afternoon show. Take it easy. See you in a bit.